We have been getting a lot of queries from our clients on how the government's coronavirus stimulus packages could affect them. And I've put together a very high-level summary for you right now. I'm Alan Leung. I'm a chartered accountant, aka FinNerd, and welcome to our FinNerd channel. For those of you who are new to our channel, we bring you great financial and tax tips while keeping the taxman away, so please subscribe. Now, since the 12th of March, the federal government has announced two stimulus packages worth almost $84 billion. State, territory, and even some local governments have also rolled out their version of the stimulus packages. The ATO has also provided some administrative concessions on tax lodgements, collections, and debt management. Now, one of the key measures announced by the federal government is the increase of the instant asset write-off from the $30,000 to $150,000 to businesses turning over less than $50 million. And for the larger businesses who turn over less than $500 million, a 50% accelerated depreciation on top of the current depreciation deduction. Well, all this means is that you are getting the same amount of depreciation deductions faster, but not more, and you have to spend money to benefit from it. Well, my clients are telling me that spending money right now in fixtures and fittings are not a priority, but the priority is actually to save money to weather the storm. So let's talk about what really matters to you, how to get more cash into your pocket right now. Let's summarize the key tax measures. First, if you are businesses and you turn over less than $50 million, or you are not-for-profit organization roughly around the same size, and hire employees, meaning you are registered for pay-as-you-go withholding and you actually pay a wage, you may be eligible for a tax-free payment of up to $50,000 during the April to July months and another $50,000 between the August to October months. The actual amount you will get will depend on your pay-as-you-go withholding obligations for these months, but the minimum amount payable would be $10,000 for each period, basically for those whose pay-as-you-go obligation is less than $10,000. In practice, the way that the tax-free payment will be delivered to you will be by way of a credit against your tax liability, so you pay less tax. So if the total amount of the government's payment is more than your outstanding tax liability, then either the ATO would initiate a refund or you can seek a refund, and that's how you get the cash. The good news about this initiative is that you don't actually have to separately apply. No form to fill in, no phone calls to the ATO, and no queues outside Centrelink. The ATO will simply calculate the amount automatically and offset the amount from your tax payable. The bad news is that if you do have an existing tax debt owing to the ATO, or you have GST or pay-as-you-go installments owing to the ATO in your basis, then you only get cash payment after the ATO first offset against those amounts. However, for something else that may actually be helping you, the ATO has indicated that it is prepared to allow taxpayers affected by the coronavirus to defer the tax payments and installments like income tax, basis pay-as-you-go, FBT, and excise for up to 6 months. You may also vary down your pay-as-you-go installment for the March quarter to nil, and the ATO could refund you the pay-as-you-go installments you made for September and the December quarters. Of course, that would mean that by the time that you lodge the business's 2020 tax return, the final tax payment would be a lot higher. Now, there is a catch, though. For these ATO administrative concessions, you do actually have to call up the ATO to apply. This is not automatic. Now, while we're talking about the smaller employers, the stimulus packages from some state governments would also be helpful. For example, in Victoria, the Victorian government is exempting payroll tax for the 2020 year altogether by giving you a refund for the payroll tax you already paid to date since July, and exempting the future payments until June, but only for smaller employers though. If you're a sole trader and or an individual taxpayer and affected by the coronavirus, the key initiative for you would be your ability to access your super early, tax-free. Now again, only if you are affected by the coronavirus. In a nutshell, you're able to access up to $10,000 over this financial year and another $10,000 in the next financial year if you're an employee and become unemployed, or entitled to New Start, or after 1 January 2020 been made redundant, or your working hours cut by 20% or more. If you're a sole trader, you may be able to make a tax-free withdrawal from your super if your businesses were suspended or there was a reduction in your turnover of more than 20% or more. For the self-funded retirees, the government is temporarily reducing the superannuation minimum drawdown amount for pensions by 50% for the current year and the next year. Now, this would help you reduce the amount of money that you must draw out from your super fund to preserve the balance if you so choose. This is useful as to preserve the investment that you have in your fund and manage your cash flow, given the investment in your fund could have taken a pretty big hit from the stock market downturn. For people who are on income support, there is a special payment of $550 per fortnight for the next 6 months. Now, this $550 is in addition to the regular fortnightly payment that the usual means testing and waiting period requirements would also be reduced. For households who are getting the one-off stimulus payment of $750 previously announced, there is another $750 payment payable in mid-July 2020. This second $750 payment will be made to Social Security's veteran income support recipients and eligible concession card holders. The government has signaled it may release tranche 3 of the stimulus package if it needs be to keep people employed, to get them by and keep these small businesses afloat. Now, please let us know what you think about the packages and whether you think they actually address your needs and would help you to get over to the other side of the bridge, as the Prime Minister has said, when the COVID-19 crisis is all over. Until then, please stay safe and see you at the next video.